Apparently, Jan-Hendrik Wessels, the prop and hooker, has gone with the Springboks to London. I hope that is a sign that the Springboks have some degree of confidence that his appeal is going to be heard and that his 9-match ban for testicle twisting is going to be overturned. More information has come out now. And look, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think that Jan-Hendrik Wessels did something to that part of the Irish player's body. I think it happened. But that's not enough for a sentence as severe as a 9-match ban. It's not enough for a ban of 1 match. The Citing Commissioner's report says, while the video footage does not provide irrefutable visual confirmation of the exact point of contact, the totality of evidence, which is Murphy's immediate reaction, his consistent and credible testimony, the unnatural movement of Wessels' arm, and the corroborating live observation leads to a compelling conclusion. The movement of Wessels' left arm away from his body and towards Murphy's groin is not only unnatural but also unnecessary in the context of ruck engagement. His backward glance further suggests awareness. On the balance of probabilities and in the light of the evidence presented, it is my firm belief that Vodacom Bulls number 2 Jan-Hendrik Wessels committed a serious act of foul play by grabbing and, as alleged, twisting the testicles of Connacht number 6 Josh Murphy. So then it goes to a hearing. And under the rules, or are they laws, John Dobson, I'm not sure, if you have been cited, you have to convince the disciplinary panel that you are innocent. They don't have to confirm that you are guilty. You have to convince them. You walk in there guilty and only walk out innocent if you manage to persuade them of your innocence. And that again seems, I don't know. Jan De Koning, freelance rugby journalist, regular CapeTalk contributor. Jan, do you think that Jan-Hendrik had a little go at Murphy?
I have no way to say it is so, is not so. I've looked at it so many times. I can give you 10 other answers or reasons why his hand moved there. One was to push him off because the guy was lying on top of him. And the referee and the citing commissioner both made it clear that the two players were grounded. So maybe Jan-Hendrik's knee was twisted, maybe his arm was twisted. I have no idea. But to say, yeah, I suppose we can say it looks unnatural, but then every ruck looks unnatural. I think what is unnatural for me, and you now read part of the statement, what's unnatural for me is that the citing commissioner says, I was present at the match, positioned approximately 20 meters from the incident. That means he was on the field, which is a blatant lie. Because the incident took place more than 20 meters in the field of play. So
look, I
mean, that's a sort of.
But the point is, it really doesn't matter what you think, and it really doesn't matter what I think. What matters is whether a decision has been taken which is consonant with the principles of natural justice, and I don't think that applies here. I don't think that justice has obviously been served. It may well have been that Josh Murphy had his scrotum tickled, but there's no evidence of it other than his claim. And Jan-Hendrik Wessels said, I didn't do it. And you should not be banning a rugby player, whether he's a Springbok or an Irish rugby player or a Samoan or a player from Mars, on a he said basis.
I agree with you 100%. I think the embellishment of the evidence, to me, is what concerns me most. I know it's difficult to referee a match, and it's difficult to be a touch judge, but a citing commissioner, which we don't know his name because they don't reveal his name. So an unnamed citing commissioner who doesn't go publicly and have to defend his reputation can harm the reputation of a player and label him as a testicle grabber or twister. And believe me, a player the size of Jan-Hendrik, if he twists your testicles, you don't get up and stand there and talk with a normal voice to the referee. You'll be singing a very different tone in the choir next week.
Yeah, and look, it plays into a feeling which I don't track the game and disciplinary verdicts closely enough to know whether the feeling is justified, but it plays into a feeling that South Africans get a raw deal from overseas disciplinary panels, that they carry a reputation with them into a panel hearing, which puts them on the back foot straight away. And this really is going to add a lot to the conviction of people who already believe that.
I agree. One incident like this, and these incidents, bad incidents that so slanted, are far and few between. But you just need one of them to play into that scenario or narrative that these guys are biased and they're out to get the yarpies. And we know there are those who do happen. But I agree with you. One such incident will play into that narrative.
I don't know whether you have contacts with the Bulls team or with the touring box. They're in Twickenham preparing for the match against Japan on Saturday. But the fact, I don't know whether I can interpret the fact that Jan-Hendrik Wessels is with them rather than having been sent back to Pretoria to stay fit is an indication that they believe the appeal might rule in his favour.
If he's there, and there's definitely a case of being hopeful, and it's much easier for a player to be there and come home if you don't play than having to wait till Thursday or Friday, then suddenly you're allowed to play and then have to fly over. So while he's there, he can train with the box, and the appeal is ongoing, and he can be there. So then it saves you that extra flight and trying to get there at short notice for next week's game.
Jan De Koning, freelance rugby journalist, regular CapeTalk contributor, thanks for chatting to us.